Genesis. God creates the world, humanity rebels, and God sets a plan for redemption through a chosen people. Exodus. God rescues the Israelites from slavery in Egypt and establishes a covenant with them. Leviticus. Instructions for the Israelites on how to live holy lives and worship God properly. Numbers. The Israelites wander the wilderness for 40 years due to disobedience, but God's faithfulness endures. Deuteronomy. Moses delivers a final speech, reminding the Israelites of God's laws and urging faithfulness before entering the promised land. Joshua. The Israelites conquer Canaan under Joshua's leadership and begin to settle the land. Judges. A cycle of rebellion and deliverance as the Israelites struggle to remain faithful to God. Ruth. A beautiful story of loyalty, redemption, and the ancestry of King David. 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. The rise and reign of King Saul and David, with a focus on David's rise to power and God's covenant with him. 1 Kings and 2 Kings. The history of the divided kingdoms of Israel and Judah, with a focus on the rise and fall of kings and their faithfulness to God. 1 Chronicles and 2 Chronicles. A parallel history to Kings, emphasizing the Davidic line and the importance of the temple in Jerusalem. Ezra. The return of some Israelites from exile in Babylon and the rebuilding of the Jerusalem temple. Nehemiah. Rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem under Nehemiah's leadership. Esther. A courageous Jewish queen named Esther saves her people from a plot orchestrated by a wicked official. Job. Explores the themes of suffering, faith, and God's sovereignty through the story of Job. Psalms. A collection of poems and prayers expressing a wide range of human emotions directed towards God. Proverbs. Wise sayings offering practical guidance for living a righteous life. Ecclesiastes. Considers the fleeting nature of life and the importance of fearing God and living wisely. Song of Songs, a beautiful and symbolic poem celebrating love and marriage. Isaiah, prophetic pronouncements of judgment, hope, and the coming Messiah. Jeremiah, warnings of judgment for Judah's sin, but also promises of restoration. Lamentations, poetic expressions of grief and mourning over Jerusalem's destruction. Ezekiel, prophetic visions and messages of judgment and restoration. Daniel, stories of faithfulness and God's intervention in the midst of exile, with prophetic visions of the future. Hosea, God's enduring love is portrayed through the metaphor of a marriage despite Israel's unfaithfulness. Joel, a call to repentance in light of coming judgment. Amos, a prophet criticizes social injustice and calls for righteousness. Obadiah, a short prophecy against Edom, a nation seen as Israel's enemy. Jonah, a disobedient prophet, eventually proclaims God's message of mercy to Nineveh. Micah, a call for justice, humility, and seeking the Lord. Nahum, a prophecy of judgment against the Assyrian Empire. Habakkuk, a prophet wrestles with questions of justice and God's character in the face of evil. Zephaniah, a call to repentance before the coming day of the Lord. Haggai, encourages the Israelites to rebuild the temple after the exile. Zechariah, prophetic visions of future restoration and the coming Messiah. Malachi, a final call to return to faithfulness and prepare for the coming day of the Lord.